Hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. Epstein, it's all anybody's talking about when we have real issues to deal with in America, and people are so focused on Epstein. Look, I want justice for the victims. I would love to have the abusers all exposed. And I think what you're going to get from the Department of Justice is a bunch of salacious documents that are going to reveal some of the rich and powerful and who was involved with Jeffrey Epstein and who was involved in possibly trafficking these young girls. But the real information that I want goes bigger than Jeffrey Epstein, because I want to know who enabled Jeffrey Epstein to do this, who enriched Jeffrey Epstein along the way to do this. I actually believe it was our federal government. So when you think about getting documents from the DOJ, I have to laugh. I don't think the DOJ has the documents you and I want. I think the CIA has those documents. I think the State Department has those documents. We know that Jeffrey Epstein was working with State Department officials. He rented a building overseas from the State Department. You or I could never do that. Jeffrey Epstein, we know, had CIA ties. We know from grand jury testimony in Florida that Jeffrey Epstein was being handled at least by the CIA. So I want to know what the ultimate scheme was. Who was running the scheme? What levels of government does that go to? And folks, I'm here to tell you, the DOJ does not have those documents. State Department, CIA. You release the documents from those agencies, it'll be voluminous, and it will be exactly what we need to find out who was behind all of this. So we're going to talk about this on the program today. Before we get into the show, I want to remind you about my friends over at Patriot Mobile. Right now, patriotmobile.com/Grant. Use that promo code Grant. As we move into the holidays, you're going to get up to 2 months free service when you sign up with Patriot Mobile. This is a fabulous deal. America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They literally are moving the ball down the field, helping conservatives at every level, from veterans to gun rights to free speech issues to helping local candidates get elected to school boards and other offices. Patriot Mobile is the company you want to be with if you're tired of funding the woke left agenda. And that's what's happening if you're with the other three cell phone companies. So 100% U.S.-based customer service. I know the executives there. They're all friends of mine. Trust me when I tell you, you're not going to sacrifice service. In fact, it's going to be great. A great performance guarantee as you choose what network you want to be on. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. Make sure you use that promo code Grant and tell them that Grant Stinchfield sent you. All right, with that, folks, let's get the show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
You know, there's so many things to talk about when it comes to this Epstein thing. In many respects, I'm upset we're even talking about it, because you had a situation yesterday where Linda McMahon comes out and says we're moving 6 agencies from the Department of Education into other agencies as she tries to downsize the Department of Ed, which doesn't do anything but serve as a fundraising arm, a slush fund for left-wing indoctrination fetishes, right? I mean, that's what the Department of Education is. So that's big news. It was overshadowed by the House and the Senate voting to send this bill to President Trump's desk to have the DOJ release all of the Epstein files. Now, remember, the release was botched. First, we were told we were getting the release, but it was a drip and drab of stuff we had already seen in binders with really no new information in it. Mishandled, to say the least. Then we get another document dump where Congress says, here's all the documents we have, we'll release them. The new bill says the DOJ has to release the documents, and it has to be in a searchable format. All well and good, but you can search all you want. You're not going to find the documents that you're looking for. The documents you're looking for is inside the CIA and the State Department. There is no doubt in my mind those are the 2 agencies that were running Jeffrey Epstein, running him as a deep state operative, whether he was a pawn, whether he was a business partner. I don't know. I do know Jeffrey Epstein was making inroads where nobody else could into Middle East, Saudi Arabia. You have the things surrounding Israel, weapons trade. All of this, I believe, was probably most likely being orchestrated by the CIA. And I'd like to know who at the CIA was running Jeffrey Epstein and what did they know about him. So here's what was interesting. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, came out yesterday to talk about the Epstein files after the vote had gone through.
But the truth is, the biggest proponents of this discharge petition were never actually interested in transparency or ensuring justice or protecting victims of this unspeakable tragedy, the Epstein evils. And how do we know that? Because the Democrats had every one of the Epstein files in their possession for the 4 long years of the Biden administration. The Biden Department of Justice had the files the entire time. And not a single one of the people who are so loud and animated right now, they never said anything about it for all those 4 years. None of them held press conferences. None of them demanded the release of the documents. And under Biden's DOJ, when they prosecuted just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, not a single one of these Democrats or any of the proponents of the discharge ever made any noise about that at all.
So why do you think that is? They didn't make any noise because, one, I don't think there was anything to get Trump on. There were those inside that were telling them there's nothing on Trump. So now they create the Epstein hoax because Trump is winning at most levels. And as he wins, they need to get him on something else. So they create this illusion that somehow President Trump was involved in Epstein. You have AI videos now coming out. You have all of these conspiracy theorists just based in nothing but nonsense, literally fiction that is being made up, and people are buying into it. Both my sister and my father send me a video that was played in England. I literally can debunk everything in the video, but they take it as if it's gospel because somehow it was a video that aired. I wish everybody took my videos as gospel. My video is way more gospel than their videos are coming out about this stuff. So one of the reasons why they didn't want the Epstein files released earlier was because they knew the Democrats were caught up in this. Jeffrey Epstein was a Democrat. He was a big-time Democrat donor. Don't forget that. These are text messages relating to Hakeem Jeffries. So James Comer, head of oversight, released these and talked about it. And this is the best because Hakeem Jeffries, high and mighty Jeffries, he was connected and soliciting money from Epstein all the while.
Colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch. The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that, I yield back.
Mr. Gentleman yields back.
Yeah, Mr.
It's hilarious. So Hakeem Jeffries is literally soliciting Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we know about Plaskett, and I'll get into that. Stacey Plaskett, she was getting coached by Jeffrey Epstein along the way. I mean, how bad is that? But here's Jeffrey Epstein when they were talking about, excuse me, not Jeffrey Epstein. That would be interesting if he came to the cameras. This is Hakeem Jeffries.
Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing. And at one point, he tells her, good job.
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability.
I'm telling you, we haven't heard about the predators. And you know why we haven't heard about the predators? I mean, sure, there's Prince Andrew. Sure, Bill Clinton's name is thrown around a bit. And yeah, Jeffrey Epstein. But beyond that, you don't have a whole slew of names. Now, we were told there were hundreds of rich people that were sleeping with these young girls. I don't think the DOJ has the names. I don't think you're going to see it. I think there's going to be some very embarrassing emails like for Jeffries that begging Epstein for money. You have people in academia that were sucking up to Jeffrey Epstein. But I don't know if you're going to see the salacious details there. And so Ro Khanna, who's the Democrat from California, was asked about this. He's a sponsor of the bill with Thomas Massie, who's a total thorn in President Trump's side. Thomas Massie needs to go. So Ro Khanna was asked about Hakeem Jeffries being listed in the emails as trying to raise money from Epstein. And Ro Khanna doesn't know what to do here. And this just shows you they're not good when the media starts to ask them questions. They're fine when they're getting softballs, but the moment things get rough, they can't handle it. Think about it if you're a Republican. You're treated and you're trained how to handle rough questions because that's all you get are rough questions. Ro Khanna is surprised by this.
Any comment on Hakeem Jeffries' campaign soliciting money from Jeffrey Epstein himself back in 2013?
It's the first time hearing about it, obviously.
Comer said it on the floor.
Well, I don't know if it's true. I mean, you're just saying it, but obviously anyone who took money from him should return the money or didn't donate the money. And I
Did
don't.
he step down as leader?
I have to look at what you're saying. It's the first time hearing about it, but he should certainly return the money or donate the money. And it's the first time, honestly, hearing about it.
You know what I love about this interaction? Like, it's not the biggest blockbuster thing ever. He wasn't caught in just like a horrible answer. He's caught by surprise. Doesn't know what to say. Return the money. Fine. But you're going to see a lot of this. As some of these documents come out about high-profile Democrats and Republicans that were raising money for Jeffrey Epstein or wanting favors from Jeffrey Epstein, you're going to see a ton of this. But again, what you're not going to see is the CIA aspect of this and the State Department aspect of this and the gun-running business prospect to all of this, the weapons deals. That's what you're not going to see, and really, this is what I need to know, because I want to know where my tax money was going to fund Jeffrey Epstein's fetishes for rich people. That's what it amounts to, because I'm convinced it wasn't just they were running him, they were paying him, and I think the CIA, State Department, was paying him hundreds of millions of dollars. I really do. All right, let me. I'm going to continue this because there's more to talk about here with all of this. But before I get to that, folks, let me tell you about my friends over at the Wellness Company. This new product, TheraBlue, is absolutely fabulous. I just got my first bottle of it, and I deal with aches and pains. I'm going to the gym all the time, and I deal with muscle pain. Well, I put this TheraBlue on. It is peptide relief. And there's a whole slew of other ingredients in it, botanicals and peptides, that penetrates so deep. So if you have pain issues, okay, and none of the other creams are working for you, painkillers aren't working for you, you don't want to be hyped up on painkillers anyway, get this TheraBlue. TWC.health/Grant. Use the promo code GRANT. Right now, today, I believe there's a 25% off state store-wide sale. So anything, that includes the Parasite Cleanse, which is pricey, the Parasite Cleanse. But right now, if you can take advantage of that 25% off, folks, that is the way to do it, because parasites are nasty. So I went through this total body detox with the Wellness Company and got rid of parasites out of my body. Brain fog went away. This is what they found in a grocery store fish, by the way. These parasites are disgusting. So you can take advantage of this 25% off pre-Black Friday sale. TWC.health/Grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 25% off, and you're not gonna regret it. I promise you about that. All right. getting back now to the task at hand. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of things going on. You had the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia that was in announcing $1 trillion of investment. I mean, talk about a country with a hell of a lot of money. $1 trillion going to come in for AI investment. And what does the mainstream media do? They got ask President Trump about Epstein. Well, President Trump gives a 3-minute takedown, okay? A 3-minute takedown of Mary Bruce, the reporter for ABC.
President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psyched you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is...
I want you to watch here. As he's talking, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, I mean, I love this. All right, how about now? Are we back? Let me know, folks. Are we back? I hope so. That was not good as that froze up there. So let's hope it's still rock and rolling here. I think it should be. Sometimes technology, everything was going bad yesterday with the Cloudflare thing, which was totally crazy. And I don't know what is it, Mercury in retrograde? Is that what they say when technology starts going crazy? I don't know. It sure seems like something was wrong. Let me go back to President Trump here, though, and let's see if we can keep this going.
This is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me, but he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax, and ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake. so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, chairman, who should look at that because.
So now he's saying, let's take the license away from ABC. Now, even if you're fake news, you can't take ABC's license away. I mean, there's just because one reporter asks stupid, dumb questions. What you could force ABC to do is remove her from the press pool. You could put so much pressure on ABC that you limit her access that she. Let's see what. I hope this is working, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's on Rumble's end or if it's on our end, but the stream keeps completely freezing up. So here's what I'm going to do because I got to pay bills. Let me tell you while it's going. Let me tell you about Energized Health really quickly. I got in some of the best shape of my life through Energized Health. Amazing, amazing system. Protocol that helped me lose 15 pounds in 2 weeks in a very, very easy fashion. This was not about a crazy diet. This was not about some wild workout boot camp type thing. It was a total body, mind, body, soul program that allowed me to get my life back under control, and I'm grateful to Energized Health for it. It's about intracellular hydration, okay? Go to energizedhealth.com. That's energizedhealth.com. Intracellular hydration, and an amazing process because you start to lose body fat, gain muscle mass, testosterone levels go up for men. My blood pressure went down. Cholesterol levels went down. Everything moving in the proper directions, fabulous. So again, energizedhealth.com. There's a masterclass there as to what intracellular hydration is all about. I urge you to take the masterclass, change your life around, and you will not regret it because it helped me so much. The guys there are literally fabulous. All right, Shelly Rose wants my email. Super easy, Shelly. Grant@GrantStinchfield.com. That's my public email. I actually read them all. I try to respond to everyone. I don't always get to respond to everyone, but Grant@GrantStinchfield.com is where you can reach me. All right, so do we want to try going back to President Trump, or is this what's holding up is this what's freezing it up? Let's see.
I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with them all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
Reid Hoffman.
Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You got to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
The best is no more questions from you. Do you remember the soup Nazi from Seinfeld? No more questions for you. You don't have to ask questions in a mean fashion. You can ask questions in a legitimate fashion. Even if they're tough questions, you can still be respectful about it. And, these people are not respectful. They're not respectful about anything, quite frankly. This is Stacey Plaskett. So, Stacey Plaskett was getting the text messages from Epstein during a congressional hearing where he was coaching her, literally coaching her on what to ask Michael Cohen. And so She responded to the cold stone fact that Epstein was coaching her during a congressional hearing.
Mr. Raskin, to my former professor in law school, and I want to address the body. I first want to give you all a sense of what was happening that day. Everyone knows at that hearing in February, the entire country was watching. As Michael Cohen decided he was going to finally give up information about what was happening in the Trump world, the Trump enterprise. And at the beginning of that hearing, the ranking member, Jim Jordan, had the disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down. And I turned to Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair and to basically shut up. And that moment went viral. And I began to get innumerable texts from friends, from foes, from constituents about what was happening in that hearing.
Let me tell you something. I've had plenty of moments go viral, all right? We all want moments, more moments to go viral. It's how we spread the word. It doesn't mean everybody has my cell phone number. Doesn't mean people start texting me. Yeah, I get emails. I get Facebook messages. I get lots of Facebook messages. You'll get hit on Twitter. People will tag you. But I don't get text messages. I don't get cell phone calls. Nobody has my cell phone number. I mean, look, if you look hard enough, it's out there, which is so annoying to me. But you're not getting cell phone calls from people like Jeffrey Epstein. Again, I've had a lot of viral moments. Jeffrey Epstein has never texted me. Whoever. The worst criminals in the world have never texted me. So I don't know where she's getting this from.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation, and who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently from someone that I was seeking advice from him. Let me tell you something. I don't need to get advice on how to question anybody from any individual.
Apparently you do, because you didn't know who Rona was. Rona was President Trump's executive assistant, who's really the gatekeeper. She was the as Epstein says, the secret keeper. But whatever you want to call her, she didn't know who she was, so she needed the coaching from Epstein to say who's Rona, get that name into the record, start more investigations into people who don't deserve investigations into them.
I have been a lawyer for 30 years. I have been a narcotics prosecutor in New York City. I have had the honor of being a political appointee at the Justice Department after September 11th as a Republican appointee in the Bush administration. I know how to question individuals. I know how to seek information. I have sought information from confidential informants.
Do we need to just tell her to shut up? Because she's trying to run cover for herself. She was texting Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I will say this. Without saying who, I have texted members of Congress during hearings. Now, I've never coached them on what to ask next, but I've made funny comments to my friends that are in Congress saying, look at this dope. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're using Jeffrey Epstein, somebody who's well known by this time as someone who is engaging in nefarious activity, that is not a good look for a sitting member of Congress at all. You know what else is not a good look for a sitting member of Congress? This.
Congressman Massey, will you apologize to President Trump for calling him a pedophile protector? You want to understand your question? Or would you like to apologize to President Trump for calling him a pedophile protector?
Well, I didn't call him that.
You inferred it many times.
So that's Thomas Massey. He's the one who introduced this bill to release all the Epstein files, at one point much to the dismay of President Trump, but then President Trump does the rope-a-dope, and he literally sucks all the Democrats in to go crazy about it, and then he says, okay, release them. And then the Democrats go crazy because they really didn't want him released. They just wanted President Trump to say no because they're so hopeful and so dumb that they think there's Trump information in there, which there's not. And you have Massey, who's literally just nonstop critic of Trump.
X accounts, posts, statements.
I'm super happy that Trump's backing my legislation now for transparency.
I don't know.
Glad he came around to it.
So you don't want to apologize though?
I look forward to going to the bill signing. He said he's going to sign my bill now.
Did he?
He's doing the right thing.
Did he invite you to the bill signing?
Well, it hasn't passed the Senate yet, but he's also encouraged the senators to pass it. So I'm super happy about that.
But you don't want to apologize for calling him the pedophile protector?
I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't do.
Thank you, Congressman.
All right, so don't want to apologize for something I didn't do, but then I found this, which, I don't know. You tell me. It's kind of like saying Trump's a pedophile protector.
Happen. I would remind my Republican colleagues who are deciding how to vote, Donald Trump can protect you in red districts right now by giving you an endorsement, but in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump.
All right, I'll let you decide. I mean, he's kind of calling President Trump a pedophile protector there. It's what he's doing. And President Trump isn't. President Trump basically said what JFK files were all about, is that you can never release enough. You never get to the bottom of it. One, with JFK, the files that are really important have been destroyed. We haven't really learned anything of super interest out of the JFK files. And as far as Jeffrey Epstein goes, I'm telling you, we're not going to learn anything new. This was Massey after the vote went through.
Bill and Hillary Clinton, they're now refusing to show up before the House oversight regarding their depositions with Jeffrey Epstein. What's going to happen with them? Is there going to be a criminal referral?
Now watch, he's asked about Bill and Hillary Clinton. These are the real monsters that I want to go after. If there's information about Bill and Hillary Clinton, let's get it. My guess is the DOJ is not going to have anything on Bill and Hillary Clinton.
That's up to the Oversight Committee and the Speaker of the House. I mean, everybody in this country has the right to plead the Fifth Amendment. If that's what they're doing, that's fine. But if they're refusing to show up at all, that's not legal.
Bannon and Navarro were in prison for doing the same thing. Should they be as well?
That's outside of my purview. The Oversight Committee has been doing their own investigation, and we have introduced legislation because they have yet to produce a single name or any justice for these survivors.
Thank you, Congressman.
So they have yet to produce a name. And I think because in many respects, they don't have the names. The DOJ doesn't. The CIA and the State Department does. Here's Ken Jennings taking it to the people of CNN.
Having email exchanges does not mean that they did something
like
criminal.
Larry Summers.
Okay, but
or Stacey Plaskett.
Yes.
The fact that they're having exchanges
exactly.
with Epstein.
That may not be criminal. I do think it is wrong. I mean, people like Deepak Chopra.
Does that apply? Does your concern apply to Stacey Plaskett?
Absolutely. It applies. Did you just hear me?
Across the board.
Did you just hear me say?
You think she should resign? Should she resign?
There you go again, trying to make this into a Democrat.
I think it's very.
She was being programmed by him after the moment you said we all knew.
It's very hypocritical for you to call out the names of only the Democrats, but not apply the very same logic to everyone.
What Republican was he programming?
Listen, hold on. You're basically saying if you're named in these documents, I guess you're saying that they should be condemned. Anna is basically saying, let it all out. But you're the only one who's making a carve out for one person, and that's Donald Trump.
There's no evidence that he had any contact with Epstein after he excommunicated him, but we do have evidence that he was programming Democrat members of Congress. Why isn't that a big deal to you guys?
I guess the point is we just don't know.
We do know that. We absolutely know he was programming Plaskett.
That is what he was doing. He calls it programming. I call it coaching. I don't know. Either way, that's that's what was happening. And Epstein was right in the middle of it with the Democrats. And in the end, folks, here's my prediction. The Democrats are going to be sunk because of all of this. Republicans will be scathed, okay? But they're not going to be sunk. That I believe to be very much true. Now, I want to turn to Charlotte's Web. This is the ICE raids that are going on in Charlotte. They nabbed about 130 people over the last couple days already. Charlotte is freaking out. 27,000 students did not show up for school, fearing that ICE agents are going to come to school and round up illegal alien children. That's not happening, by the way. So ICE is not going to schools. So you don't need to do that. But look, the only people that need to be worried about getting rounded up are the people that are here illegally. Now, you may not like it that they're coming for you if you broke the law and entered the country illegally or overstayed your visa. But the reality is you are a criminal. You may be a nice criminal. You may be a well-intentioned criminal. You may not have done anything while you're here except for cross the border. But you got to get straight and you got to get right. So use the app, self-deport yourself, and then come back in the legal way. So 27,000 kids don't show up for school. We've got the National Guard in certain cities that is trying to keep the peace, help with just a presence. And then you get these ding-dong lawmakers, that Democrats, of course, that come out and encourage members of our military to disobey a lawful command. Listen.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
All right, so they're setting up who they are. Just because you're a member of the military doesn't mean that you have common sense. It doesn't mean that you know better than we do. All it means is that I'm grateful for your service and you have the courage to put a flag on your shoulder and go into harm's way for us. And I'm grateful for that. But it doesn't give you an upper hand to common sense, all right? These people are proof, by the way.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Well, first off, what citizens? The military isn't going against any citizen, and the military is now keeping American citizens safe. We're taking out drug boats coming up, bringing very dangerous drugs to America. They're in American cities like Los Angeles and other cities where they're keeping the peace. Washington, D.C., for instance. The people are grateful for this. They're not going after American citizens.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
No, you don't have the back. You don't have the backs of the American people. And you certainly don't have the backs of the United States military. They're in a very stressful situation, albeit going into these cities. Yes, there are lunatic Antifa groups that want to do great harm to our United States military. Do not confuse them even more going into an already could be tenuous, confusing situation, and you're clouding their minds. What the United States military is doing is 100% within the bounds of the law. They are following a lawful command from the commander-in-chief, and don't get in the way of them. Getting in the way of them, that's when it becomes treasonous.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Look, I have said before, I basically gave the same message under Joe Biden and Barack Obama. But it wasn't necessarily to our military. It was more to our police officers. What are you going to do when you're given an unconstitutional order? But I mean a real order against American citizens. You're going to arrest someone for not wearing a mask, okay? An American citizen. Now, not one member of the military, not one ICE guy is going and arresting American citizens for being in America illegally. It's just not happening. But if you're going to arrest us for wearing a mask, or you're going to pepper spray a lawful gathering that is nonviolent because people are upset about COVID restrictions or what are you going to do in that spot? That's a big difference from telling you that you're experiencing unconstitutional orders now and do not obey them. I ask people, come up to your own conclusion. Get a plan in place. What can you tolerate? What do you believe is real and isn't real? What do you believe is within the bounds of the law when it comes to orders and what isn't? And then you've got to make a judgment for yourself. Not what these people are saying. These people are saying push back against your commander-in-chief at all costs. We don't like what he's telling you, and we need you to comply with us. It's not how it works. But for Democrats, you know, in many respects, I guess it is. Hey, folks, listen, right now, gold continues to make all-time highs. And guess what? It has for decade after decade after decade. I am predicting, and many others are predicting, gold could go to $10,000 an ounce. Everything leads me to believe that. From we're not getting government spending under control. Central banks are buying gold in record numbers, including the United States of America, which continues to drive the price of gold up. Supply becomes diminished as more and more of these countries want gold. Gold is the safest place you can be when it comes to a hedge against not just inflation, but world chaos. So I would ask you, go to grantlovesgold.com. That's grantlovesgold.com. If you've got $50,000 or more in a 401k, I want you to go watch a 2-minute video with the one tip that's going to make you either open your eyes or walk the other way. 2 minutes to decide what are you going to do, and that 2 minutes may change your life. There's a video there, grantlovesgold.com. That's grantlovesgold.com, or text Grant to 35052. That's Grant to 35052. These are our friends at Augusta Precious Metals, and they do such a great job at helping all of our Stinchfield Army members that are putting money into gold, and I do think it's a good place to diversify your portfolio. Okay. Folks, last night, speaking of immigration, I want to play for you a little bit of what we talked about and how bad it really is. I interviewed Art Del Cueto on the Real America's Voice show, and I thought I would play that segment for you here as we continue our coverage of the immigration situation here in America. ICE raids continue, and the reason they continue is to remove violent felons from the streets of America, violent illegal aliens that are wreaking havoc on the streets of America. I want you to take a look at this guy, Sergio No De Nova Duarte. He came here in 2016, overstayed a visa, had about 18 million run-ins with the law, say police. Should have been deported instantly after this long rap sheet. Instead, in Plano, Texas, he attacks a young woman with a hammer. He ends up trying to get on top of her, duct taping her, tries to kidnap her. Somehow that woman fights herself, fights that guy, and saves herself from the attack. That's who we want off the street. But then you have the governor of North Carolina, who will come out and defend people like that, who happens to be in Texas. But you got the same situation going on in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Operation Charlotte's Web is going on, much to the dismay of the Democrat governor of North Carolina.
We've seen masked, heavily armed agents in paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars, targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalks, going after landscapers simply decorating a Christmas tree in someone's front yard.
Random people. It's not what's happening. It's not what's happening at all. This is what the media does. This is what Democrat lawmakers do. They lie to the public. So if you believe the governor of your state, which there was a time where Democrat or Republican, you're the governor, you're supposed to be speaking in facts, you'd say, oh my gosh, they're scooping up random people. But that's not happening. It's an absolute lie. Charlotte is a liberal city that let this fester to the point of no return. You've got people that are overwhelmed with crime, and in fact, it's being dubbed the epicenter of human trafficking thanks to all of these illegal aliens.
Charlotte's a beautiful city, but in this case, its leadership has absolutely failed it. We know that there is more than 1,400 criminal illegal aliens who are in their jails, and they refuse to turn over those individuals to ICE law enforcement, which really, that means a revolving door of justice in these criminal illegal aliens.
This is the problem that we see all across America. Democrats pushing back, defending criminals over American citizens. I want to bring in now to discuss all of this border security advisor for the Federation for American Immigration Reform and former Border Patrol agent himself, Art Del Cueto, is back with us. Art, it's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Operation Charlotte's Web in Charlotte. Charlotte got out of control like a lot of liberal cities. I heard today, Art, 27,000 students did not show up to school because they're afraid of these ICE raids. But ICE agents aren't going into schools, are they, Art?
No, so this is what is frustrating for me, Grant, is that I keep seeing people get on through different social medias and they talk about they're scared to go to school. If you're legally in the country, there's nothing for you to be scared of. That's what it comes down to. But you have people out there in the media, and frankly, you have some school teachers out there that are pushing false propaganda as well, trying to make ICE agents and Border Patrol agents be the bad guys that are causing this panic throughout different areas in North Carolina in particular. I have close ties to North Carolina. I go back there often, I can tell you that. And for the longest time, I've been screaming, North Carolina, the Carolinas in itself have been a hub for illegal immigration for a long, long time. And I'm glad that you're finally seeing people go out there and detain these individuals that have been here and they've circumvented our laws. And a lot has been said that they're arresting people that don't have a criminal record. Look, if you're here illegally, that's a crime in itself. Now, what's happening in a lot of these communities is when they're arresting these individuals with serious criminal records, they're pointing the finger, and I'll just say it, they're snitching off their neighbors. That's why you're seeing so many other individuals get arrested. Misery loves company, I guess.
Yeah. And that is the bottom line. If you're here illegally, a Border Patrol agent, an ICE agent can't ignore the fact if they have evidence that you're here illegally, you're going to be taken into custody. Now, Representative Alma Adams, this is a Democrat, of course, just because I love to get your blood boiling, Art, I'm going to play this clip for you and get your reaction.
Charlotte, our community is under siege. ICE and Border Patrol are roaming this community, profiling people, picking people up. It does not matter who you are. You can be an immigrant, you can be legal, illegal, or U.S. citizen. They're picking people up. It's my understanding that almost 100 people, or maybe more, have been picked up already.
Art, the fashion police ought to go arrest her. I'm just going to say that. But beyond that, what is she talking about? It's lies.
It's absolutely lies. She's fear-mongering. They're trying to stir the pot. That's what it comes down to. They're trying to make the men and women that are out there putting their lives on the line the villains. They're trying to make Donald Trump the villain. Look, the leadership at Border Patrol, Tom Homans has been doing a fantastic job. Kristi Noem's doing a fantastic job going after individuals that have laughed at our immigration laws. You got people like this that have some type of microphone, and you have impressionable youths that are listening to her. They're going out there. They're the ones that are protesting. They're the ones that are getting in trouble because these people, they're sitting back at home. They're just stirring the pot for their own political agenda or for their own political theater. That's the only reason they're saying that, and it's because they have a microphone, they can do so. That's part of the problem. But the people that are out there protesting, and I saw plenty of video out there in North Carolina, Grant, they're protesting with flags of the country that they don't want to go to. What?
Yeah.
You don't want to go there, but you want to fly that flag and you want to show allegiance. Now, I'll tell you, and you're very much aware because you've always been in tune of the issues that are happening with immigration issues. Down in Mexico, the cartels are people have been talking about how they've been working with the Mexican government. You have individuals out there that are fighting their own government in Mexico, and they're saying they don't want to leave Mexico. They want to stay there and fight for their country. Well, now's the time for all these protesters that are in the United States attacking law enforcement, attacking Border Patrol, and they're showing the Mexican flag because that's where they have the allegiance. Why don't you take a trip down to Mexico and really actually help your brothers and sisters and liberate that country down there?
Well, you and I both know, Art, that there's not a chance in hell that that's going to happen. I'd put my life savings on it because they don't want to go there. They want to stay here in the greatest nation in the world, and they don't want to go back. And yet, you're right, the hypocrisy of them waving the flags while the people in their community are suffering. That woman, I promise you, you go into any impoverished neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina, illegal aliens and American gangbangers are going to be wreaking havoc, and we ought to go after all of them. I'll give you the last word.
I've been there. Like I said, I have visited North and South Carolina many times. I got close ties down there. And I can tell you, I have seen the effects of illegal immigration there, not just with the illegal immigrants that cause havoc like we have spoken about. What they've created this hub. So now they know they can go there and be safe, and that has created more and more drugs into the country. So the main hub has been in the Carolinas for a long time for fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamines, and from there they distribute it to other parts of the country. Hats off to Tom Holman and Kristi Noem for doing the right thing.
Yep, absolutely. Hats off to you too, my friend. I always appreciate you coming on at Art Del Cueto AZ on the platform X. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Grant.
All right, so it's always great having Art on. I mean, nobody knows immigration like him. I mean, spent so many years on Border Patrol, worked for the unions. Now he's consulting on the issue. And, he sums it up. If you're illegal, you're a criminal. And you got to get right with the law. It's the bottom line. All right, we'll have more on this, I'm sure, for months and months and months to come. But on the Real America's Voice show tonight, we got a lot to talk about, including Senator / Colonel Wendy Rogers is going to be on the program tonight. She's been so great in election integrity, but I'm going to have her comment about those Democrats who are saying don't follow Trump's lawful orders. We'll see what a lieutenant colonel has to think about all of that tonight on the Real America's Voice show. We'll see you there. Stinchfield's Army Rolls, thanks to all of you. GrantStinchfield.com is the website. Please like, share the video, and give me a follow if you can. Subscribe to the podcast. It's always great to see you there. Sorry for some of the technical issues today. Not sure what's going on with that, but we'll try to get it fixed. God bless all of you. Stinchfield's Army Rolls. See you tonight.